Now I pull up on the scene, dead fresh and casket clean. They gon' hate on me, yeah. Gon' hate on me. When I pull up on the scene, dead fresh and casket clean. They gon' hate on me, yeah. Gon' hate on me, yeah. Pull up on the scene, dead fresh and casket clean. They gon' hate on me, yeah. Gon' hate on me.
Yes. Glad to have you back around. That's Alex. I'm Kay, and this is the Biscayne Breakdown. Coach Alex, what's good with you, man? How you?
I'm all right, man. I'm here. Another Heat game in the books, so let's get after it.
Absolutely. Get more excited, man. I mean, you coming to a close on your actual season tournament coming up. Tell us a little bit about that before we get dive into the doldrums of what has been Miami Heat basketball over the last two games.
Shoot, man, it's the doldrums of Chowan basketball too. We let a few games go that we shouldn't have this past season. Ended up with the fifth seed in the conference. We went 13-7, which obviously isn't bad, but ended up with the fifth seed. So now we got to host the playing game this upcoming Sunday. We play the winner of that playing game to try and get to the main tournament that's in Spartanburg, South Carolina. So got some work to do with the guys, but I'm excited, and I think we can honestly go on a run and win it all. So I'm excited to get to work this upcoming weekend.
So you say you guys host the playing game, and then you play the winner. So wait a minute, two other teams are going to play a playing game at you guys' facility on Sunday, and then you guys will play the winner of that game. I'm assuming on Tuesday.
Monday.
Okay, so it's back to back real tournament like feel. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, that's cool. Y'all home turf and y'all get a chance to see the competition live and in action in a more immediate fashion. I mean, that should definitely make you feel good, especially considering, I mean, like you said, 13-7. Was it a close league or were there like some far and far outrunner best teams?
I mean, the team that was at the top, I think they finished like 18-2. But I mean, we played them yesterday. Well, we played them earlier this year. They beat us by 3. Played them yesterday. They beat us by 5. So I mean, I think we're really close to being able to be where we need to be. Like we're closer than we think. I think. So
Based on the records and how you say the previous games went this season, and especially when you're talking about a tournament setting where it's like, the bounce of a ball, one shot, not even anything can happen because you guys are so close and you've seen them twice already, familiarity. I guess if you could, stand to beat them, then you could probably beat anybody. So not that to question you, question your take, but just to validate it, it makes sense when you say you feel like y'all can go on a run. Um, I'm glad you're feeling positive about your guys. Um, Not that I'm feeling negative. I mean, it's about what we expected. Ho hum. I just don't know what the ceiling is, and maybe I'm naive to say that I don't know what the ceiling is because maybe we actually do know what the ceiling is, but I'm being too positive and hopeful about it. And I'm sure I'll give you a chance to cook. The Miami Heat traveled to Philadelphia to play the Philadelphia 76ers on this Thursday evening. We're coming to you live after the game. It's been about 45 minutes after the game, so we got a little time to decompress. But I mean, look, man, 117, 124. The game was a lot closer coming down the stretch than the final score indicate. Um, but I mean, it was just another instance of the Miami Heat not being able to pull out a close game. Now, some would even say that it shouldn't have been a close game, but that's neither here nor there. At the end of the day, with 4 or 5 minutes left, the Miami Heat were right there with a chance to take this game on the road in a much needed victory against a team that's sitting almost directly ahead of them in the seedings. I think Orlando is still sitting a game or a half game above them, while the Philadelphia 76ers set a game and a half above the Heat coming into tonight. So it was one of those type of situations where both teams came out with a sense of purpose, knowing that they needed this game and it directly impacted them in the standings. Um, I mean, just to open the floor up, what were your immediate thoughts for this game as a whole before I kind of get into some bullet points I had?
Man, I wrote down a few small things. First half, my thought was somebody help Bam. Like he was out there, he was hooping, he was giving it his all. He had a double-double. I'm just like, all right, like somebody come along for the ride with him, especially because of the fact that Maxey and Embiid. Like Embiid was in MVP form, and Maxey was doing Maxey things. Just what he had like 4 or 5 threes in the first quarter, and he was just getting
I
to
think
it.
5 threes. I think. Oh, I was muted. Sorry about that. Five
You good?
threes. I think he finished the first quarter with 20 points.
Yeah. So I'm just like, yo, like somebody come help Bam. Somebody come help 13. Obviously we were down, I think around like 13 or so points, 14, 15 points going into the second half. And then in the second half, I already knew, like, I'm like, all right, the Heat are going to make a run. They're going to make it interesting. And then going down the stretch, it might end up being a toss up. But I always like to say, like, the energy that they had to use to cut into that lead to get back into the game, if they would have handled their business better in the first half, that would have been the energy that they needed to go ahead and take care of business and snuff the Sixers out. But they had to use the energy in the wrong spot to get back into the game. And so then once it was time to close, we couldn't close, and they were able to find their footing and take care of business.
I mean, to your point, man, what they had to do to open that third quarter was, I mean, flat out unheat like. But they were able to do it. And what you're talking about is what eventually amounted to a 24-7 run to open up the third between mainly Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo. I mean, making good plays in between near the rim, but lighting it up from the 3-point line, which helped them close, I think what was like a 15, 16 point gap coming out of the half. So that was important. It was nice to see that. But like you said, man, it just seems as though um they wasted too much energy in that moment. And again, you professional athletes, so you don't want to say wasted too much energy because that's cheap. But what you're saying is that offensive burst that they had in there, which could have been used to pull away, stabilize, do something else. Because they found themselves down big early. It was only a neutral point. And let's not get it twisted. They kind of hung in there throughout the third, throughout the early fourth, kept the game tight, but eventually, and I don't know why, this is a night where Bam has to play every minute of the fourth quarter, if that's what it means. Am I tripping?
No, not one bit, dog. Not one bit. He's what? He's 28 years old. If you really like, so if the Heat win this game, and we only played the Sixers 3 times this year, so they would have had the tiebreaker if it came down to us and them being tied at the end of the season. So if you really
Got one
trying to
more
go,
against them now, right?
yeah, we got one more against them. I think it's in Miami. But it's like, yo, if you were just like, all right, we're gung ho, we're going to get this one, then you just got to let him ride, bro. He just got to play.
Yeah, and I think that stretch, it was like from 4.5 minutes, maybe down to like a timeout at 2 minutes, where the Sixers were able to get 2 buckets that not only got them back close, but then gave them the lead. And don't get me wrong, this isn't a Kel thing because he played decent in his minutes tonight, but it's just that Bam needed to be on the floor. One, because he's Bam. Two, because he's the defensive anchor, and you needed big stops there. But then three, because he had been absolutely cooking on offense. Um, Not that they didn't have any answers for him, but he got whatever he wanted when he wanted on the most part. When he found himself getting too deep in the paint, down there, of course, challenging with Embiid, who's a naturally bigger man. Even Barlow, with his length at times, was able to bother him on the double teams and the help stuff. But those were the only moments, and he didn't allow himself to get there a lot this game. But those were the only moments where he found himself in trouble. But he made a lot of good stuff happen. So that just didn't make any sense to me. Not having him on the floor for every single minute of action, if that's what you need to do, especially considering Norm Powell didn't play, I guess, any beyond the first quarter, right?
So Norm got a quick stint at the beginning of the second quarter, sitting here watching. He was out there. I think he shot a three. Then he like was going for the ball, ended up in the and into a cameraman, and then after that, I think we went to a media timeout or a timeout, and then when we came back, Tyler was back in the game, and I was like, why would like I was looking on the court. I was like, is Norm and Tyler in the game right now? Because that's not what Spo's been doing ever since Tyler came back. So I saw Tyler was on the court and Norm wasn't. And then I'm looking at the bench every time they were showing like the where the Heat bench was, and I didn't see Norm. And then a little whiles later, they said that Norm was out for the game, man. So yeah, he got a probably like a minute and a half stint in the second, and then that was it. Only played 10 minutes today. 3 points,
3
three
points,
rebounds,
3 rebounds.
1 for 5 from the field, 1 for 4 from three.
Yeah, Norm really got a. I don't know. Some last couple of games, Norm has really had troubling starts. He's got. I don't know if it's actually the groin that's been bothering him, or if he just got to lock back in since All Star officially. But he's had some really sloppy starts, some real questionable, inefficient starts over the last couple of games. But we've seen Norm come out and be like, the actual igniter for the Miami Heat team, set the pace for so much of the season. I'm not gonna blame him, but we all gonna hold him accountable and say, tighten up, Norm. Hope that groin ain't so bad because we need you. But yeah, his starts over the last couple of games haven't been the best. I know in that last game against the Bucks, I think he started with like 4 or 5 turnovers to begin the game. I mean, at least I don't want to put too much on him. It was at least three. Either way, and there was some sloppy play, and he's had a little bit of that even in the wins prior to that against Memphis and New Orleans, I want to say. But um, yeah, man, it was a very intriguing game because what the Miami Heat showed you is that they actually have the firepower to play with this Sixers team and that firepower. And I say that from the perspective of course, BJ has been balling at certain points this season. When Paul George first came back and got acclimated off his injury situation, he kind of took a step back. But then you also didn't have a Kelly Oubre in the mix. And then as Paul George has seen himself, had to sit games because of his positive test for the performance enhancers, you've seen BJ kind of take a step back forward, while also Kelly Oubre has continued to get his legs back up under him for missing a large chunk of the season. They're very electric on the wings. They have so much wing and guard play. They actually had to trade Jared McCain to the Thunder, as we all know by now. So that's no shocker. But just for the Miami Heat to be able to come back on a team in a 16-point deficit, a team that features those guys, those electric guys on the wing who can shoot it, get to the cup, make all sorts of things happen for their teammates. Being led by Maxey, who passed AI tonight for the team lead and 3-pointer. Shout out VA, that's the crib. So even though it's the ops, I'm gonna shout it out. Alex from the 757, I know he feel it. I mean, it's like, even with a team over there that features Maxey, who's, I mean, it seems like the boy range just increasing every year. And with his quickness, if he can continue to shoot consistently from Steph Dame range, like at least for the next 5, 6 years until his burst start to leave. And it might be longer with the way the athletes are staying in their prime and healthy today. But at least for the next 5, 6 years, if he can maintain the distance and the depth on that jump shot. And as the broadcast mentioned, Crotty and Erie, they give you the knowledge. They was like Nurse want him to take more and want him to continue to take a step back and see can he hit it from deeper range, because he already know with his quickness, there's nobody that can stay in front of him, especially if he nailing those shots. What are your opinions on the Miami? Even though they lost, did they come back? I don't want to say hopeful because again they lost, but was Tyler and Bam's ability to lead that comeback something or nothing?
Honestly, dog, to me that was nothing because of the fact that like it really does feel like this really felt like a typical Miami Heat basketball game over the last few years, where it's like we're in a hole, we dig out of the hole, and then we still lose. Or it's flipped. We take a lead, we lose the lead in the third quarter, and then we lose it close going down the stretch. Like that's literally been the Heat's game. Unless we just take care of business, that's what the losses all feel like. Literally, it's either one or the other, man. So I mean, and just to hit on the Maxey point, it just made me think about like one time I was watching and Dame was talking about where he shoots from in the deep range, and he was just like, "Yo, like," he was like, "If I'm coming down the court, like 9 times out of 10, people are backpedaling. So if I get to a point where I can shoot from even further, that's an open shot for me that you might think is like how Paul George, oh, that's a bad shot. That's a bad shot. Like,
I was about to say, I know the quote. He actually said, "No, that's a good shot for me."
yeah.
Because it
Like
is.
that's literally, I'm coming down. I shoot this shot. I practice this shot all the time. I'm wide open. Let me just get a wide open look up. And so, I
He's
mean,
stepping into it, and your momentum is taking you back. Like it's
mm-hmm.
literally against physics for you to be able to get a good challenge. And even if I mean, I'm sure they don't want this, but this is just when you want to when you want to take it to take it to the neighborhood. Talking about the league, it's like okay, and if you can challenge that shot, I'm gonna lose that battle, but I'm gonna win the war because you're gonna tear everything in your lower half trying to recover for one jump
Uh-huh.
shot. If you backpedaling and gonna explode fast like that. Like
Yeah,
you might
not.
challenge that one, but somebody going to help you off the court when you explode that Achilles. Like real talk. And you know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's just real talk. The
yeah,
body
no.
don't do that. So no, that's a good shot. I remember that quote because he's right. If I'm pushing hard, and that's why, and you a coach, so I ain't telling you nothing you don't know, but that's why coaches always tell you drive him hard. Because if you drive him hard, okay, it's one thing you either gonna finish and you're gonna get the contact or you're gonna get a good look, or he's going to play for that and he's going to give you all the space you need to create a good look for yourself or a teammate. So, nah, man, that's a weapon. One interesting note about that, and of course, it's interesting because it speaks to Tyrese Maxey's. Um, I don't want to hype him, but it speaks to his greatness. I'll go ahead and say it. He's a top five scorer in the league. The boy can play. And he passed AI, but and this ain't a Sixers podcast, but it's just worth mentioning because again, AI from the crib, VA in the building. All VA podcasts tonight, by the way. We're gonna show him some love. Maxie was able to break the 3-point record in about 300 or so less games than AI played. Now, of course, we know the 3-1 is prevalent, but it's still interesting because it's AI. You know what I mean?
Say yeah, dog. I say yeah. Obviously, he was a killer. Like when everybody used to ask him what position you play, he said I'm just a killer, which was the truth. Like AI got to it, but AI was a midi killer, and I'm getting to the basket. I'm taking contact. I'm going to the free throw line. I'm knocking down free throws, and then if I'm rolling and I start shooting this three, it's about to be a long night for all y'all out here. Cause I don't even do this for real. Like I don't shoot from out here, but if I'm hitting this jump, it's a long night for you.
Because he could get past anybody, bro. And it's like if he had like the midi was almost automatic, but
Mm-hmm.
if he was in one of them nights where he ain't care like what angle it, like okay, everybody got their spots, and AI wanted to get free throw line. If he could ever get free throw line extended and parallel and
Mm-hmm.
get the shoulder square, which is what he got anytime, like you was cooked. And then of course he gets
Mm-hmm.
to the rim, which is why he was always banged up. You remember the poster that showed every injury he had.
Mm-hmm.
Because like once he could do that, he was scared. But then AI had those times where he didn't even have to square up the shoulders. Like some nights he could do it facing the opposite way. He just firing that joint up and it's going in. Float game, reverse layup
Mm-hmm.
game. Like when he had it cooking, AI was gonna give you work. And a lot of people don't. Well, a lot of people do know this been watching hoop, but a lot of the youngins don't know this. AI was a two guard. AI was a 6'1" flat two guard and got absolute work. Hall of Fame, retired jersey, one of the best ever do it, all that. The question, the answer, AI, Bubba Chuck. Shout out to you, man. VA. Anyway, back to the Heat. We mentioned Norm not playing after the second quarter. And we mentioned Tyler Hero being a huge part of that run that was able to bring the Miami Heat back in the third quarter. I guess this is a poor time to ask about it, especially considering we've been harping on the fact that Norm hasn't played or didn't play past the second quarter tonight. But just in the couple of games back, um that you've seen Norman Tyler Hero play and in the way that Spo has used them. I guess we can speak more towards the way that Spo has deployed them so far as opposed to how they played together. And again, we could talk about that too. Matter of fact, I'll give you some fodder towards that after I get your answer to this question. What do you think about first the way that Spo has deployed them?
I think from obviously the small sample size that we had early on, that with Tyler coming back, the thought that Spo basically has just staggered them for the last what basically I'm not even counting today, so the last 3 games for the most part, just all right, one of y'all is on the court at all times. Like I think that fits a lot better than both of them trying to just be out there on the court at the same time because of the fact that they do so much similar things that like it ended up, I think what last game it ended up against the Bucks, looking like a okay, my turn, your turn type situation where like neither one of them was comfortable and neither one of them really wanted to step on the other's toes. So we ended up getting some good belt from a Giannis-less Bucks team. But I mean, obviously, like if one of them is on the court, then they know, all right, I have the freedom to basically let this jump fly whenever I want and not have to look over my shoulder like, dag, is he gonna be like, dang man, I was wide open. Like why he ain't swing that one? Cause I saw a clip earlier today where like Norm in the Bucks game, he got fouled. Like he caught the ball on the swing pass. He like shot fake, made a little rip and got fouled and like flung the ball up. And Bam was standing in the corner like shot ready like this. And when Norm shot it, Bam just put his head down like dag. Like okay, I know he going to the free throw line, but he could have just one more that jump to me and I would have had a wide open three. So I mean, I think it makes the most sense to continue to just stagger them because I don't think them playing together is just not it's not it. It's not gonna work.
Okay, to your point, I'm gonna give you some fodder there. The Miami Heat in the Bucks game, if you think about it, it was a close game, tie ball game within a point at least. And then the Bucks proceeded to go on like a 7, 8 point run when Coach Spo deployed Tyler Hero and Norm together for the first time in that Bucks game the other night. Like it wasn't coincidental in my mind. It's like, okay, they were hanging right in there first. And don't get me wrong, Kevin Porter Jr. was giving absolute work. He was doing work. But the game really opened up and became, incomparable, or not incomparable, but in I guess out of control, just unable to be, reined in was when he deployed that lineup and they just went absolutely nuts. Any look that they wanted, they got it. Anytime they saw Tyler Hero in front of them, they tried him. And it's unfortunate. So I agree with you. The stagger lineup has to be the lineup, not only for defensive purposes though, but for offensive purposes, because you got to have a guy out there that can trigger his own stuff and be sort of reliable at the very least, perimeter wise. Because Bam has improved and Bam has been getting to his other than the other night. I want to say was it New Orleans or Memphis? It was a recent game where he only had like 7 shot attempts, but for the most part, outside of that, even before All-Star break, he's been trying to get to it. Before we move on and get ready to close here, we didn't have a whole lot tonight, man. It wasn't really a whole lot to talk about, but we are gonna try to give you more Biscayne Breakdown, which means you're gonna see us at least once a week. So even if it ain't for a long time, it's gonna be for a good time because we're gonna try to be honest. I'm gonna let them bash the Heat. I'll be honest about the Heat. And when it's not good, I'm gonna tell you it's not good. But I'm gonna let them do the real fly talking and bashing. But I'm a platform and support it though, because we here for all the bullshit anyway. Do you think that Coach Spo will continue to stagger him? Do you think that Tyler Hero will make it back into the starting? Do you think that he'll jam that starting lineup back into the realm of our consciences as the season progresses?
Honestly, I feel like the only way, like it would take a prolonged injury. Like, so say Norm is out for like the next, let me look. We play
Okay.
Saturday. Yeah. What do you say?
No, I get where you're going with this. Go ahead.
I say, yeah. So we play Saturday and we got 2 games next week, Tuesday, Thursday against the Nets. And then we play, oh shoot, gonna play in Charlotte. That's close. But yeah, so like we got these games that are coming up. And like if Norm is missing time, like I think earlier this past week, Norm didn't play, and I think we started Cash. Well, I think now if Norm doesn't play, he gonna throw 14 back in there, and then once Norm comes back, then it's gonna be hey, like, I mean, we gotta see what it looks like, which all of us know exactly what it's gonna look like. And I think that's the way that it ends up, where it's just like, hey man, like, hey, let's try it again. Let's see if Norm and Tyler can do something out there together, and we're gonna just be Just had to figure that joint out, man. As you can see, that joint is starting to get me depressed just thinking about it.
No, right. Just thinking about it. I got you. And you're not necessarily wrong because the fact of the matter is what you're saying is Spo's not gonna bench Norm or demote Norm. So if Norm comes out, if Norm is out for a sustained amount of time, 4 games or more, Tyler Hero's gonna have to start. And then once he gets himself back entrenched to that start lineup, playing that many more minutes, as unfortunate as it is, it's not chemistry wise, or I guess the way to I'm not gonna put that on that man, but you know what I'm saying. The way he put together, it might not be conducive to Tim to then pull him. Um, oh, yeah, that's tough. But outside of that, if Norm can get back pretty quickly, you think it'll just go back to the way it is? Because I think Tyler is still playing the starters allotment of minutes.
I say, yeah, he's definitely getting starters minutes. I mean, what I think the first 2 games were blowouts, so that kind of helped. Obviously, then the game we lost to the Bucks, he tried to squeeze him back in there, and we saw what happened with that. And then tonight, obviously, Norm went out, so it's just never been all season where we could just pencil in, hey, Norm and Tyler, you guys are going to play together for these 10 games straight. And then we, like, throughout these 10 games, we can really mix, match, and maneuver to
And see
see,
what's what.
can y'all really just hoop together? Like, can we figure out y'all 2 and 3 others that really make sense? We've never gotten that opportunity.
Nope. 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 And that's unfortunate, man. That's unfortunate. That is the charmed life. Charmed freaking life. Look, man, the Miami Heat's next game is against the Rockets on Saturday at 3:30 Eastern time. The Rockets, I know they were playing against the Magic here tonight. Was checking that out a little bit before I came on. They ended up beating the Orlando Magic, which is great for the Miami Heat, standing wise, 113-108. After trailing, pretty big there at one point, and then still trailing coming down the stretch. Baines did go off, but that's neither here nor there. How you feeling about Saturday, man?
I mean, if you don't know by now, Kevin Durant is my second favorite player all time behind Dwyane Wade. So that guy Kevin is coming down to South Beach. Obviously, I wanted Kevin in South Beach, but we wanted to go after the Greek man.
Is he going to tweet before he get there, or he's still on his Twitter? He's still in his Twitter.
Oh, yo, you know he's still tweeting. He don't care. That man don't care. You know he's still on them burners. He probably had 3 more burners.
Oh, he's saying he burned you on his burner.
Bro, he probably had 3 more burners in the chamber that he hadn't used in a minute. So now that one got exposed, he just gonna use the other ones. Yeah.
He was waiting on his moment. I got you. To your point, he went for 40, 14 to 28, only 2 of 10 from 3, 8 rebounds, 3 assists, but he went for 40. I mean, that means he ain't got nothing left in the tank when he comes to the AO on Saturday. Because I'm assuming if they played Orlando tonight, then that just means they're in Florida for a little getaway road trip. Let me double check. Yeah, they in Miami.
They don't play again.
Mm-hmm.
Dang.
So, so I'm sorry, Joel's in the chat, and this isn't a swear word. This was literally the man's name. So you think Get Off My Dickerson is going to drop 40 on Miami on Saturday, or just a normal game?
I think Kevin gonna go ahead. You can pencil him in for at least 28. Like, you can start counting after 28. Like, that's what I see in the Heat's future. Smooth 28, and then just start adding after that.
I mean, listen, man, it's not far-fetched. It is KD. It is a Slim Reaper. It is Get Off My Dickerson, Mr. Burner himself. So, it's highly possible, man. Do you think the Heat going to win?
No.
I actually think the Heat going to win. They tend to respond. Joe Chop saying no. They tend to respond, man. It's a daytime game. I'm gonna take the Miami Heat, and I'm like a hopeless romantic. I'm gonna always believe in my team. we're not gonna close out on this negativity though, man. We want to put some positivity in your life. Who was your first favorite player before Kevin Durant? Again, Alex.
Dwyane Wade.
Dwyane Wade. Dwyane Wade. Shout out to Chris Bosh, by the way, thinking back to the Big Three era. He just went through some more health stuff. Hope that everything ends up all right with CB, man.
Yes, sir.
That's
Prayers for
awful to hear.
CB.
Yeah, bro, that's tough. We got a little clip we want to run though. Talk about the Big Three era, Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, and LeBron James, of course, the Big Three era. Not that you wouldn't know if you listened to this, but something was said about the coach that actually got fired before they won their first championship. The guy that Pat Riley was like, you know what, bro, I'm gonna take over this team and we're gonna go win us some titles. But don't get me wrong, I love this guy, man. I love him on TV. He got a funny voice. He do know ball. And they still seem to have a good relationship with him. Not Jeff, the one that was hanging on Patrick Ewing's leg. Was that Patrick Ewing? That was Patrick Ewing's leg that he was hanging on to. Or was it Alonzo
He was
Mourning?
hanging on Zoe. He was hanging on Zoe.
Zoe. Okay, I knew it was a scrum between them. I just can't remember which big man right now. Forgive me, Zoe. His brother, Stan Van Gundy, guy that coached Dwayne Wade, had some very interesting words to say. We're gonna run a clip for you, get a couple minutes off before we exit. Go and run the clip, boss.
Said many times, and I'll stand by it, and I know I'm biased. NBA history, give me anybody to have the ball in his hands with the game on the line at the end. I'm taking Dwyane Wade over everybody.
Absolutely.
Over everybody. Yeah. I mean, because he had such a great sense of the clock, too. I mean, his very first playoff game, we were playing against Baron Davis's team down there, and he hits a game winner, and he leaves 0.3 of a second on the clock. I mean, he always had that sense, and he could get a good shot. And people will argue with me and talk about Kobe and Michael Jordan and all that. Obviously, great players. Nothing negative to say about any of them. And I do recognize I'm biased, but I still would stand by it. I'll take Dwyane Wade at the end of a game over anyone who's ever played.
Coach, let's talk a little Orlando Magic and your time when you were there as a kid from Winter Park.
Great place to cut it off when they're about to start talking about the Orlando Magic. But that's not the only reason that it was great. Per Run It Back with Michelle Beadle, Chandler Parsons, and Lou Will. Shout out to Lou Will, man. Atlanta Hawks got a Magic City Monday. And Lemon Pepper Lou is solely responsible for the worldwide fame. I mean, no, Magic City is a very popular place. It is a very popular place among a certain group of people. Alex, you know what I'm talking about. But what I'm saying is for the greater masses who did not know, thank COVID, the NBA bubble, and Lemon Pepper Lou for that. And it's one of the few things we could thank COVID for. F you, COVID. We still getting back right. 10 years behind, 10 years later. It's going to be 2029 before we right from COVID 19. But yeah, Lemon Pepper Lou. Him, Michelle B. and Chandler Parker got the show running back on the FanDuel Sports Network. As you can see, former Miami Heat coach Stan Van Gundy said that, amongst all of the great guys, and he specifically mentioned Kobe, he specifically mentioned MJ. I mean, I'm sure you could throw LeBron James in that mix. I mean, but, who are some of your more great guys to take your last second shots? I mean, the truth has hit his fair share of big shots. I mean, Carmelo has hit his fair share of big shots, even though he don't have the titles. But, amongst any of those greats that, could have been known for being clutch, nailing big shots in big moments, Stan Van Gundy said that he'd rather take Dwyane Wade. Let me ask you this, Alex, a couple of things, and you can get it. You can just wrap it all up in one bundle as we close out here. Do you agree or disagree with Stan Van? Did you like his reasoning? And if you disagree, who's the guy you would take?
Oh, I absolutely love this reasoning. But do I agree? Honestly, no. But I mean, the guy, and you said the guy who I would pick, who I'm gonna pick. He coming to South Beach on Saturday. Kevin, the 7'2" guard. He can get off any look. He's 7 feet and literally could do everything that D-Wade could do. Obviously not as dynamic of an athlete, but in regard to shot creation, dog, ain't nobody like he's the best scorer. I don't care that Bron is the leading scorer in NBA history. KD is the best scorer ever. Like he can get to wherever he want and he just rise up and there's nothing nobody could do. So I'm taking Kevin, but I love the fact that he was like, yo, I'm taking D Wade. And I think I saw a tweet attached to what Stan said, and it showed that like I think in clutch moments, it had D Wade was 47%, and I think Kobe was like 44%, and Mike was like 45% in clutch moments. So I love that for D Wade. I'm happy for D Wade. I feel like he's the most disrespected superstar ever. But if I got to pick and Kevin's over there and D Wade's over there, I'm like, hey, yo, get a ball to Kevin. Unless D Wade, if D Wade got it rolling, then hey, D Wade, you got it. But if they both got it rolling, Kevin, go ahead, Kevin.
Unfortunately, I don't disagree with you, and I'm gonna take the punk answer here. Um, I I think you gotta. I think Jordan is probably equitable too. We've seen so much of Kobe in an era where like it was Kobe and not a whole lot of other guys who were. And I guess you could say the same thing about Jordan, but it's like Jordan was the ultimate clutch guy, and maybe because they let Jordan get away with so much because he was Jordan. Because that was the push off in Utah against Utah. That was a push off. I mean, come on, bro. That was a push off. He gave the man a nudge, but he still had to knock it down too. So I mean, yeah, man, KD is the right answer. I'll give you that one. I just love Stan Van's reasoning though. Like Stan Van really went into the intricacies of why he thought that. And the time management. Like I'm a clutch shot taker because not only am I gonna nail the shot, but I'm a like minimize your opportunity of being able to counter it. Like that's thinking basketball, and I just appreciate Stan Van's explanation about that, man. But I agree with you though. Kevin Durant, handle too tight, shot creator, shot efficiency. Ain't never seen a shot he don't like. Ain't never seen a shot he can't make. Tough to argue against the Durantula there, man. What else you got, Alex?
Nothing, man. Shoot, we just got the Heat right now. Looking at the standings, we have now. So we're one full game behind the Magic. What is that? Now we're 2.5. Looking at it, 2.5 games behind the Sixers for 6. So it's like, I mean, everything we want is still out in front of us and still available to us. We just got to take care of the business take care of what we can take care of.
Ooh, you talking like a coach over there. Them boys in the locker room with them boys, and everything we want is still right out there in front of us. No, you're right. 13.5 behind first, 13.5 games behind first. Orlando 12.5 games behind first. Philly 11 games behind first. I don't know if this is including tonight standards though, so yours might be a little more accurate.
I've been watching it. It updated.
Okay, cool. So yeah, game and a half. A game behind Orlando, like you said, 2 games and a half behind Philly, 3 games and a half behind Toronto, and 5th. So you're right. It's still all right there in front of us. Starts with the win against Houston on Saturday, which Alex don't think we're gonna get. But that's neither here nor there. We'll be right there forward. Unfortunately, we're maniacs, we're psychos. We'll be right back here to talk about it all, to either be extremely happy and optimistic and crazy for believing that, or, down in the dumps, accepting what reality is. But again, that's what being a Miami Heat fan's like. I mean, because you said it, Alex, like, I mean, we either, jump out to a 20-point lead, lose the game close, make a 15-point comeback, lose the game close. I mean, yeah, man, that's Alex. I'm Kay. We thank you for lending your ear to this sound. And this has been the Biscayne Breakdown.
Now I pull up on the scene, dead fresh and casket clean. They gon' hate on me.